What's going on, guys? Welcome back. And after a month-long break, a very long month-long break, we are back. It is a race week. The Azerbaijan Grand Prix is this weekend, a sprint race weekend with a bit of an unusual format. Not gonna hurt our predictions too much, I hope. But we are back. It has been a long month waiting after Australia coming into Baku. We are all ready to see some F1 cars back out on track. And if you enjoy F1 and or predictions about F1, go ahead, hit that subscribe button down below, and let's go ahead and get this thing started. Our first prediction for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix is, of course, our biggest positive surprise coming from the weekend, and I have gone bold. There's always a lot of discourse around the sprint race weekends in F1. Should there be more? Should there be less? What should they look like? And I'm going to say that my biggest positive surprise for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix is that we actually get a bit of a surprisingly good sprint race. I think there's been a lot of discussion over this month-long break about, does a sprint race around a circuit like Baku really make that much sense, where really you're just one small mistake away from putting it in the wall, and a sprint race mistake could cost you dearly for the Grand Prix on Sunday. But I think we might get a sneaky good sprint race around Baku. And as we've done with every prediction so far, we give my Twitch chat an opportunity to make their own prediction, and their biggest positive surprise is just Ferrari survives Baku. After a tumultuous start to the season, to say the least, their biggest positive surprise coming out of Azerbaijan is that Ferrari survives. Simply put, they get out and they get to go to the next race weekend with nothing major happening. All right, now, other side of that same coin, the biggest disappointment for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix weekend, and I have gone with basically the exact flip side of my biggest positive surprise, and that I think after a month of no full-length races, I think the Grand Prix on Sunday may actually be a bit of a stinker. I think I'm terrified of the idea of, after a month of no races and an action-packed Australia, for whatever, for better or for worse, whatever you thought about all the red flag shenanigans that were going on in Australia, I'm terrified that after a month of no Formula One races, my biggest prediction that it might just be a stinker. And as for our chat prediction for biggest disappointment, it's that after a month-long break where they seem to be touting all of these improvements that they've been able to find out of the car, and they're going to bring these upgrades that are going to make all this difference, Mercedes won't make as many improvements as they seem to have been touting over the last month, and they just won't find any more pace than they already have. So Merc, you're kind of going backwards. All right, our next prediction is qualifying results. Top three, not the sprint race results, but the qualifying results, the top three in P3 for qualifying. I have finishing George Russell. I think that Mercedes might actually take a small step forward after Australia, another street circuit where they showed a little bit of promise. I think Mercedes might come to play once again here in Azerbaijan. As for P2, second hot take in a row. P2, Max Verstappen. I think Max is a step above the rest most of the time. That said, there is one man who has proven himself time and time again on street circuits and taking pole position qualifying results, one Sergio Perez. I think Checo is going to put it on pole position in qualifying, and I think it's going to cause some spiciness throughout the paddock after a month off. I think this is something we all need. We need to see a little infighting potentially in the Red Bull camp, and so I think that we're going to see Sergio Perez take pole position from Max Verstappen, with George Russell rounding out the top three in qualifying. And of course, as for our chat predictions, they've also gone a bit different in this qualifying results. In P3, they have one Charles Leclerc, Ferrari, getting into the top three in qualifying around Baku. I think that's a bit odd. They have not shown very much pace, but that said, hey, that's what predictions are for. In P2, we have Fernando Alonso. What is Aston Martin going to be able to do with this month-long break and trying to build on the success they already had? I think they are in a prime position to take a step forward, but can they do it? And then rounding out P1, pole position in qualifying, Max Verstappen. Can't argue too much with that one. I mean, Max is a bit of a a different beast and a car head and shoulders above the rest. Okay, and since it is a sprint race weekend, we're going to go ahead and give our predictions for the sprint race winner around Baku. And I don't even need to split this up into two sections because both I and my chat agree. We think Max Verstappen is going to win the sprint race here in Baku. I think Sergio Perez is a street circuit master, but I doubt that Red Bull would let anything come between them and their golden boy. And so I think Max Verstappen will come out on top in the sprint race on Saturday around Baku. And you know what? My chat, for once, finally agrees with me. And finally, the granddaddy of them all, our race results predictions, top three, the podium positions around Azerbaijan on Sunday. In P3, I have gone for none other than Sir Lewis Hamilton. Oh, bold. Lewis Hamilton nabs a podium after a little month-long break where hopefully Merc decides that they actually want to compete this season. And I think Lewis puts it on the third step of the podium. But that said, in P2, I have, while a great result for Lewis, George Russell coming in P2 around Baku. I think Mercedes, I hope that Mercedes just comes to play. And honestly, in a circuit that has one of the longest straights in the Formula One calendar, I think Aston Martin just isn't going to be able to have enough in a car that's pretty draggy unless they bring some major upgrades to address that. I think they may struggle here a little bit more than they want to admit. So I think Merc double podium makes a lot of sense. And an absolute shocker, Max Verstappen wins the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. I mean, I can't not predict Max to win until Red Bull proves to me that this reliability thing they've been dealing with is kind of for real. So that said, Max Verstappen wins, double Merc podium from there. I'm expecting a wild race, but I think apart from maybe one or two moments, a double Merc podium and a Max Verstappen win makes the most sense to me. And of course, as for the chat, we disagree slightly. They have gone for an absolute just terror of a race. A lot of unpredictability, a lot of surprises, a lot of twists, a lot of turns, a lot of dramatic moments. In P3, they have George Russell, the bottom step of the podium. In P2, Sergio Perez, street circuit guy, makes a lot of sense. But P1, of course, we can't be all too surprised. You know, I did say a lot of crazy things happened. So, of course, coming in P1, Fernando Alonso. We have some Nando enjoyers in chat thinking an absolute left fielder potentially coming in Azerbaijan. Max Verstappen issues potentially. Red Bull has shown a bit of a weakness around Jeddah. Granted, they still finished in a 1-2 in that one, but you never know around a street circuit like Baku. Fernando Alonso winning the Azerbaijan Grand Prix according to my Twitch chat, followed by Checo, followed by George. That would be a crazy race for sure. And of course, it wouldn't be me in this channel if we didn't make our Haas prediction of the race weekend. I have tempered my expectations a little bit. I know we had a Nico Hülkenberg P7-8 and a very good result around Australia, but I think that might have had more to do with the fact that 8 cars DNF'd around Australia, and so I'm tempering my expectations slightly. I'm saying 2 cars into Q2, no cars into Q3, and a 1 car finish in the top 13. I'm kind of undershooting, hoping for more rather than overshooting and getting less. So I'm tempering my expectations, even though I did go 3 for 3 on my Haas predictions around Australia. I'm tempering my expectations slightly here in Baku. Now, if they want to go ahead and prove me wrong, please do go ahead, Haas F1 team. I would all for it. But that is my Haas prediction for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. And finally, our chat prediction for the Haas F1 team. They are going a little bit more positive than me. They have a Hülkenberg into Q3 prediction. Hülkenberg has shown quite good pace in a car that he apparently has not quite melded with so far into the season, but he's had quite a string of good qualifying performances. They predict Hulkenberg into Q3 as well as points. I'm in as a Haas fan. I am all for every points that we can muster. So we're kind of taking both sides of the same coin on this one. We have me predicting some okay results, and we have our chat predicting points for Haas. I would much rather take the latter, but we'll see what happens on Sunday. That'll do it, guys. That's our predictions for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix race weekend. What about you? What about your predictions? Let me know down in the comments below. And if you enjoy F1 action, both IRL as well as the gaming experience, we do a lot of that around here. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button, like this video, and ding dong that notification bell, and click all. I appreciate everyone and all of you. Let's hope Azerbaijan lives up to our wild expectations after a long month off. But for now, enjoy your weekend, enjoy the race. We'll see you guys after the race is over, and we'll talk about it here live on twitch.tv/MrDakota0. But for now, I hope y'all all have a fantastic weekend, and we'll see you guys in the next one.